Americans have. And actually, but this is kind of personal, so it may be not fit, but one of my cousin's friend's house was so huge, but even though he wasn't that rich, his house was so huge that my cousin went to his house and he got lost finding the bathroom. And I haven't went there, so I cannot imagine. Maybe like he's sleeping or something, but I think that may be possible.
Yeah, I think have you ever seen the movie named Gone with the Wind? I think the pension is was much bigger than the oldest houses, I think. As Mingyong said, the can is very small, so we cannot. I think our old houses are much smaller than the American old houses, like a big rich families like that.
And we thought about the common people's houses, and the number of the Korean people who could live that big house was very small. Only noble people, small groups of people could live in that big houses, but usually common people couldn't. Generalize.
Have you ever been to Pyeongchang? Big and large houses, so the land prices are so high. Almost all the houses are so. Those houses as large as 30 times as large as current houses. They were more house. They each kind of small, literally that. You have
I have a question. I'm afraid it's not related to this topic, but in the case of Japan, they tend to have smaller houses. Japan is famous for the small size. Do you think it's related to the natural resources and like that?
I think it's related to natural resources because Japan also has small land compared to America, so they couldn't build big houses and big caves like that. So I think they are very accustomed to making small things. They have to live together.
So our logic was like that, as you picked up, that not only the Korea and America, the other countries also have that natural resources that affected to human mentality.
And while our discussion, we found it interesting that the one thing that we had plenty all time was water. So we use the saying that you use money as like the water that you're using. So when we have plenty of natural resources, we use it like as if it's nothing, like water. But we didn't use land or food as we used as water because we were lack of it. And but yeah, that was
I think her question was that Japan and Korea have similar circumstances regarding natural resources. Yet, in Japan, houses are smaller than in Korea in general. Apartments are smaller. In Korea, apartments tend to be larger. You have those big apartments and putting down, and people like to drive big cars, even though the roads are small. And even though the parking spots are so limited, they still come with a big Jeep. Why is that?
I heard that because Korea has more affected from America rather than Japan. I heard that.
So it's the American disease. And the Japanese have more immunity to it somehow.
And I think Japan's population is larger than Korean, so they have to make it smaller so that all people can live.
But their land is larger than ours.
I think the reason why they live in small towns is the money, because the price of the house is very expensive there. But in America, the price of land is very cheap, so that's why they just buy a huge land. So that's the reason. In our case, if someone is rich, they can live in the big house. But if someone isn't rich, they have to live in a small house. I think it's depending on
The price is dependent on the abundance, isn't it? If the land is abundant, the price is a little bit lower. And regarding Japan, I just think right now, and maybe they have the spirit of thrifty in their mind.
They're more thrifty than the Koreans.
Very traditional values.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
My question is a little bit far-fetched, but since we're on the topic on natural resources, do you think that, since polluting and environment is a big issue, do you think that we should preserve the natural resources or keep developing them for use? Because
You mean
right
that
now-
developing means for humans?
Mhm.
But if there is, the answer is so...
I know it's a bit far-fetched, but what I hear is that now America, after developing and using their natural resources, aren't they telling the undeveloped countries to not pollute anymore and preserve? Do you think it's fair? What your opinions are?
We got your point, but we haven't discussed about that point before, so...
In my opinion, we already are so used to using materials like natural resources. So I think without natural resources, we cannot live. So, but we have to slow develop natural resources. It's just, I think it's the one step slow. But
Maybe it might be unfair to ask Brazilians not to develop the Amazon, because but if they develop Amazon, then we humans cannot survive, so they are asking for that. And I think Americans are telling that to develop in a nature-friendly way, not destructing and just polluting, but get the lumber, but also plant more trees, that way.
Yeah. Are we done? All right, great. Thank you very much. Hopefully you can turn it on.